Hello everyone, this is Paula Hunter Borthwick, your psychic naturopath here at Celestial Treasures Holistic Haven. And I wanted to take a few minutes today to give you a little bit of information about crystals and to talk about what some of my crystal staples are. These are crystals that I kind of keep around me on a regular basis. It's crystals that I would use on a regular basis as well. So sit back, enjoy, and yeah, if you have any questions, feel free to drop me a line after as well. So when we talk about crystals, some people consider them to be magical things or mythical. Maybe there's some pseudoscience in them. But there's actually two, if you will, scientific explanations regarding crystals. And it's what they call pyroelectric effect and piezoelectric effect. So a pyroelectric effect is the ability of crystals to generate an electrical potential response during basically the temperature. And a piezoelectric effect is the ability of a crystal to generate a voltage in response to mechanical stress. So a little bit, that's something different. So when we talk about a piezoelectric effect, it's basically they create a charge when they're compressed, when they're distorted, maybe if they're twisted. And that's kind of some science behind it. And basically science has yet to prove whether there is any sort of direct effect as far as disease and protection, any type of conditions. But I guess by using it for yourself, you can form your own opinions on that. I know over the years they've helped me with a variety of different things. Crystals have been shown to hold heat, electricity, and that they can focus light energy, which can be really important in some cases. They can be used for such things as meditation, manifesting, protection. You can make what's called elixirs out of them. You can use them with your plants. For instance, you can put a nice quartz crystal at the base of your plant on the soil and it'll actually help it grow. You know, healing, I'll use it in my Reiki. There's a lot of different ways that you can use crystals, okay? For myself, I kind of started this path a long time ago, and there was a time that I started getting sick all the time. I was working in the corporate world. I used to travel on what I call the LRT, the train, to go to work in a very busy downtown core. And I started just feeling ill all the time. I was exhausted all the time. I would have different pains in parts of my body. I'd have headaches, and I really didn't know what was going on. And for me, I was lucky enough to connect with another psychic that helped me understand what was happening to me, which was the opening of my spiritual gifts. But I was also an empath. And as an empath, we tend to kind of suck up the energy that surrounds us. So whether it's coming from a person or an environment, I learned from experience that it can have a direct effect on your body and how your body feels. And you know, I was lucky to have this psychic that helped me to understand, and I actually worked and trained under her for a good year and a half or so, where I learned more. So over the years, I've learned lots and lots about them. I'm not saying that I'm the expert because I think it depends on who you're dealing with. You may find that there are different properties for the stones based on maybe something you read or a different author. So try it out for yourself and see how it works for you. So I'm going to start with some basic ones that I use. And for those of you that have been to a reading with me, you'll typically see I have different crystals here on my table. If you'll kind of look, let's see if I can look behind me. I have all sorts of different crystals behind me in my room that I keep with me. So one of the crystals that you will probably see me using quite frequently, and I do hold it when I'm doing my readings, I'll just move it up here. This is a sphere, and it is Smoky Quartz. Okay, now Smoky Quartz is really good for transforming and dissolving negative energy and emotions. It helps to remove barriers, between what we call the beta and the alpha state. So for me as a channel, it helps me to have that connection with higher source. It helps to balance the yin and the yang. It's a good grounding stone. For those of you that don't know what grounding is, it helps you to get in that calm, collective state so you don't feel like your energy is going out all over the place. I use it, it's also good for assisting contact with other worlds, so the spirit side. So this is something that over the years I've just always held in my hand, and I usually have it in my left hand. Left is usually receiving, right hand is giving. And it wasn't until I researched and learned more about crystals that I realized how much of an effect it helps me to calm and get into a different state in order to connect with higher beings, whether they are spirit, guides, angels, whatever it is. So I began to understand why this was one of my go-tos that I used to hold all the time. Okay. Now, another good crystal, which most people are familiar with, put it up here again. This is quartz. And quartz is a great amplifier. It can focus, it can transfer, it can transform energy, it dispels static electricity, it helps to create a balanced, solid energy field. It assists in the creation of power. So whatever you put your intention into, you can make it stronger, okay? It's good for speaking and receiving information. And of course, when I talked about my smoky quartz over here, this is a form of quartz as well, okay? There's actually quite a few crystals that can be quartz-based. So it helps, like I said, to get rid of negative energy, okay? And I like it personally because I can program this specifically for something that somebody may need. I'll use it in my Reiki healing as well. If it's something that I want to amplify, I may use it in conjunction with other crystals. When I do house clearings or home clearings, this is one a lot of times that I will grid the property with, along with a few other ones, because this amplifies the energy of those crystals, okay? Now, another big one, this is one of my favorites, and this is one of my personal stones itself. Of course, this is amethyst, and this is a kind of rock face or geode faced back, and this would be considered a raw cluster of amethyst. You can see all the different points on it. Now, amethyst is known as the stone of spirituality and contentment. It helps to balance the energies, and it actually helps to clear the auric field as well. It is known as the stone of meditation. It helps to create calm and peacefulness in an environment. I have it's probably about that big. It's quite a big one, what they call a cathedral. So it's a rock face, and then it's all these points on the inside. And I actually have one of these in my living room. With different people coming in and out, it helps to create a calm and peaceful environment. Amethyst can help protect against psychic attacks. It's good for prospering, and it's also known as an excellent healer. So they say it's good for insomnia, hearing disorders, your posture, sympathetic nervous system, endocrine glands. It helps with mental disorders, digestion, heart, stomach, skin, teeth. And it's really, really good for those that have issues with addiction, right? So it's a great one to carry, obviously in a smaller form. If you're trying to quit smoking or some other addictive type of issue that you're having, it's a great, great stone to have with you. This is definitely one of my staples. I have it around me. A lot of times I will get it as a pendant or a ring. Now, when we're talking about crystals and using them too, the closer that it is in your auric field or in your energy field, the better it's going to help you. So a lot of times I find, especially with women, we tend to keep them in our bra. It's nice and close to our energy field. You can keep them in your pocket. But again, the closer they are, the more they're going to help you from a personal perspective. But keeping them in your environment also assists to keep that energy in your environment as well. So another one of the crystals that I really, really like is citrine. if you can see that. This has got a little bit of a yellow hue to it, and it again is a form of quartz. And citrine is unique in some ways. It's one of the few crystals that does not accumulate negative energy, so it doesn't necessarily have to be cleared. I think it's more a personal choice whether you want to clear it or not. One of the main reasons that I keep this is I used to always keep it above my door in the store, and ever since I opened my store from day one, it was a crystal that I keep in my cache because it's known as the merchant's stone. So it helps to produce income for the merchant, or it can be from the person as well. So if you keep a tumbled piece by your, by your finances or by your wallet, somewhere where there's finances coming in, it's going to help you out. It also helps to balance and align the chakras. It clears the aura and helps to align the auric body. It's great to help to stabilize emotions, to get rid of anger, to encourage people to look forward to the future, right? Forward to the sunshine. It can work with digestion, blood circulation, balances the thyroid and the thymus. So another really, really important stone that you can have in your collection as well. Now, another one, again, a popular one that most people are familiar with, this is called rose quartz. And rose quartz is known as the stone of love. And this can be love of self and love of others. So it just doesn't have to be with regards to relationships. You're trying to work through some emotion in a relationship. It's great, but there's a lot to do with self-love in this stone. How often do we as individuals tend to beat ourselves up? Or we're carrying emotions about things that we haven't been able to let go of from the past, okay? So rose quartz helps to create a calming, cooling energy, and it works with all the chakras to help remove negativity, right? Calmness and clarity to the emotions. And it helps to restore harmony after chaotic and crisis types of situation. It's a stone of gentle love, bringing peace and calm to relationships. And it's definitely good if you're going through any type of emotional issue at the time. It helps to heal those old emotional wounds, right? Whether we're talking on the physical, emotional, even the spiritual side. We can come into lifetimes with certain emotions that we may not understand. Maybe we've had issues with anger all through our lives and we don't understand it, okay? It can be used for vertigo, the kidneys, adrenal glands. It can help to diminish pain. Actually decreases coughs, bronchial, and lung issues too. Okay, and again, it's something you can try out and see what works for you and what doesn't. Now, another one of my crystals, I've only got a little piece right now, and this is black, and it is referred to as tourmaline. And tourmaline is a great, great stone to help protect against negativity, okay? Protect and repel. So if somebody's sending you some not so good mojo, so to speak, this stone helps to dissipate it, but also can reflect it back to the person who's trying to send you that energy, okay? It protects someone from being victimized by the energies of another. It's great for physical vitality, emotional stability. It can, if you're into spell work, it can actually return spells to the originating source. And it's good for grounding. Anything black is really good for grounding, just to let you know as well. This is one that I like and use quite frequently too, because it also protects it protects against those in the spirit world who maybe are not in the light and might be causing a little issues. So if you've got some issues with spirit and things around your place, this is something that when I did paranormal investigation, if I went back into a space to do clearing, this would be one of my go-to stones for protection and gritting as well. For those of you that are familiar with me, again, you may have noticed by coming in the store that I typically would have certain crystals that I stick to the door frame over top of my doors. And so this helps to basically keep anything negative from coming into my store, whether it's a person. If it's a person who's negative, you may find, or I may find, that they won't stay in that area very long. But the biggest thing for me is from negative spirit, because I work so much from the spirit perspective, both connection and clearing. It's really, really important that I have a tool that can help protect me from things that are maybe not so much in the light on the other side. And what happens with these quite often is they will begin to chip off. You'll have chunks that'll come out of it. So, you can tell that your crystal is actually taking the brunt of an attack. Obviously when it starts to get broken down, we want to look at getting a new one, but definitely the go-to. This is one that I keep the stone in a ring form so that depending on where I'm going, I have that protection with me all the time, right? It's to me, it's quite important. Now, the other crystal that I chose to use too, and again, this is one that I would use over my doors in my store, and I would also use it when I do gridding, and this is referred to as selenite. And selenite is a great stone to clear other crystals. So if say, I have them over my door in the store, I will keep this with my tourmaline and my citrine, and they act as protectors, and this little baby helps to keep them clear. So I don't have to clear them as regularly. I still go ahead and do it because it's something that I like to do, but it's another stone that doesn't need to be cleared, okay? Selenite can help you to access past lives and future lives. It can help to, as I say, clear other crystals. I'll use it. I have big, long pieces. I don't have one in here, but I'll use it in large forms, probably about this long. We call it selenite rulers, and I'll actually use them under my Reiki table when I do Reiki to help dissipate and remove energies too. It can help align the spinal column. It can help remove energy blockages, which is one reason why I use them under my Reiki table. It's also good for regeneration of the cells. So especially when we're dealing with cancer and other types of diseases like that, it can really assist with those. So these are some of the crystals that I choose. Again, I have my Smoky Quartz. This is my personal one that I keep all the time. I have my quartz, which is an amplifier, so I can use this in conjunction, say, with tourmaline to amplify the repelling aspects of it or the protection aspects of it. I have my amethyst, which is known as the stone of spirituality and contentment. This is the one I keep on my table when I do readings. It just helps to create a calm environment, and especially when I'm dealing with clients that can be coming in with a heck of a lot of emotions, right? A lot of drama sometimes, old wounds, lost loved ones. So this one just kind of helps to create a sense of peace and calm during those sessions. And as I said, I keep these in my home, and this is one of my babies, obviously, that I keep here. Citrine, again, this is known as the merchant stone. It is good to help you bring in finances, the money. So that's a good thing to always have. I think all of us can always use a little bit more of that. I also have the rose quartz, which is good for working through emotion, so you're not carrying it, both through relationships, but it can also really, really help you with self-love. Here's our tourmaline again. Black is protection. It is a good repeller of negativity. It reflects and bounces it back at the person if they're going to send you nasty stuff. And for me, it is protection from negative spirit. And that's one of the big aspects of this stone as well. And as I said, selenite is the go-to clearing of other stones. And you can get them in plates or rulers, and you can put your other stones literally right on top of them. Obviously, this is small, but I can put that crystal on the top, and that crystal is going to help to dissipate any negative energy in this stone. Because as we work with our crystals, they take in the energy. So it's really, really important that we keep them clear, what we refer to as clear. And there's many different ways to clear a crystal, and I think at a future time I'll do a little video on how to clear your stones as well. So there's a little bit of information about what I consider to be my crystal staples and crystals that I like to have around me on a regular basis. And I hope that's given you a little bit of information on what might work for you. I'd love to hear what types of crystals you have in your collection and what your favorite ones are, right? It's always great to share and to learn from each other. So thanks so much for taking some time to learn a little bit about what I consider to be crystal basics. And as I said, if you have any questions, you can always drop me a line at celestial-treasures.ca, or you can check out our website at www.celestialtreasures.ca. For now, I'll see you till next time. Thanks so much for spending some time with me.